What you been up to?
The kids, Arionne, yeah, trying to get her through nursing school.
Okay.
So I think that's
So you investing in your woman?
I better.
It's getting heavy.
Yeah, we good.
More
now.
serious, like.
Like, you know, she keep on playing the cards while she go get that ring type thing. Yeah. So Ari and I, we've had our ups and downs over the years. You know, I've done things, said things that wasn't pleasant to her, like, you know, I called her peasant, you know, which I regret now. But, you know, me being in a relationship at the time, that kind of what prompted it. But I don't think like that about Arionne now. She's a good girl. She's very smart, great parent. I feel that I'm lucky to even have her on my side.
Martell Holt truly believed that he could rewrite the story of his life. He seemed convinced that with just one interview, a few clever phrases, and some carefully chosen words, the world would suddenly forget years of reckless choices and destructive behavior. But reality does not bend so easily, and neither Arionne Curry nor the internet is willing to erase the past. The audacity is what shocked people most. After nearly a decade of secretly carrying on with Arionne, having a child together, introducing her to friends, traveling with her, and making her believe there was more, Martell had the nerve to publicly call her not wife material. Imagine that. A man who played house with his mistress while disrespecting his wife Melody on national television now wants to portray himself as an innocent bystander, a victim who just got caught up. The truth is far from that. Martell was not swept into chaos by accident. He was the architect.
What you looking for?
So moving Arionne and my son and her daughter into my crib.
I'm sorry to say what?
I'm moving her into my investment crib.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What? Oh.
All right, wait, y'all moving in together?
Nah, we can't live together until we get married or something like that.
Oh, you want to do it right. So you gave her a ring?
We're not engaged yet.
Okay. You said yet?
Yeah, not yet. I mean, we're looking forward to all of that.
Okay.
You know, steps to it.
You been looking at rings?
A little bit. A little bit. So I would definitely say Arionne, she is wifey material. And that's the only reason I've been pondering on that, because she does have those qualities in terms of, you know, the respect is there, the taking care of me is there, the simple things, the cooking, making sure the family is good. I pay attention to all of that to a person that I want to make my wife, because all that is important.
He designed the lies, laid the foundation brick by brick, and built the toxic house he lived in. And when it no longer served him, he tried to walk away and pretend none of it mattered. But the receipts, the videos, the social media posts, and the years of evidence remain. People aren't fooled anymore. What shocks many is how confidently Martell speaks during interviews. He throws out statements like, Arionne didn't have what it takes to be a wife, as though he's some expert on marriage. But let's remember the facts. Martell already had a wife, Melody Holt. She was intelligent, beautiful, ambitious, supportive, and loyal. She helped him launch a business, stood beside him through success and failure, and gave him 4 children. And yet, despite all of that, he continued to cheat. So the real question becomes, if Melody wasn't enough, who could ever be enough?
Oh, what a man knows, he knows. Like, it just...
Oh yeah, but you still got to take steps, especially when you 43 years old and when you've been married before and that seem fresh and you got children. Got to make sure that you don't just make any rash. My divorce. I'm still trying to shake off still though, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm reminded in terms of having 4 children by her every day.
You still stuck?
No, I'm not stuck. I'm not even thinking about my...
You think about it every day. That's stuck, bruh.
It's more of...
I keep suggesting you going to therapy and like working with various people so you can get through that.
Oh, there's counseling.
Because that's why you still stuck, bruh.
No.
That one question alone exposes the truth. It was never about finding a suitable wife. Martell's real focus was always on control. He didn't want a partner who challenged him or reflected reality back to him. He wanted a mirror, someone who would echo his ego, validate his actions, and feed his need to feel powerful. That's what Arionne gave him for years. She believed his promises, trusted his words, and hoped she would one day be chosen. And Martell strung her along, fully aware of what he was doing. He lived with one hand holding his family and the other wrapped around his mistress. For outsiders, it was draining to watch. Many saw the dysfunction immediately, not because they were invested in the relationships themselves, but because of the way Martell so casually dismissed women once they no longer fit his narrative. One moment, Arionne was painted as the woman who stood by him during his lowest times, who understood him, who loved him despite his flaws. The next moment, he reduced her to a footnote, speaking about her as though she barely existed in his story. That shift revealed more about Martell's mindset than any interview ever could. Arionne wasn't just some stranger he met one wild night. He chose her again and again. He pursued her, lied to her, made her promises, and built a long-standing relationship with her. And now, he acts as though she somehow appeared in his life without warning, as though he had no part in creating the bond. That's the ultimate insult. Even now, Martell continues trying to put on the mask of a changed man. Scroll through his social media, and you'll see shirtless gym selfies with captions about growth, co-parenting, and healing. Watch his podcast appearances, and you'll hear him use words like accountability and self-reflection. But the strategy hasn't changed. It's still the same game wrapped in prettier packaging. He elevates a woman, leans on her for emotional support, and then tears her down when it suits him, all to protect his own image. Melody was the first victim of that cycle. When she finally walked away, Arionne became the next target. Martell isn't healing, he's just learning how to hide the damage more carefully. But the audience is paying attention now. The mask is slipping. Sympathy is fading. What makes the current situation even more fascinating is Arionne's response, or rather, her lack of one. In the past, she was quick to go live, to blast Martell publicly, to drop receipts, and to drag him through the mud. But lately, she's gone quiet. And that silence speaks louder than any outburst ever could. People are asking questions. Has she finally reached her breaking point? Is she done with the games? Because Martell thrives in chaos. He feeds off the back-and-forth drama. It keeps him in control. When Arionne reacts, he can twist the story. But when she stays silent, he loses the script. Right now, he's desperately trying to maintain the public image of a sophisticated man who simply made mistakes. But the internet remembers. They recall the Instagram lives where Arionne cried, exhausted and broken, while Martell pretended she didn't exist. They remember the times he proudly showed her off, only to abandon her when the pressure grew too heavy. That constant cycle of love bombing, rejection, and humiliation leaves scars. And the scars don't fade just because he posts another motivational caption. The most striking difference now is that Arionne isn't even trying to play the victim. She's not begging for pity, not asking for sympathy. She's simply speaking her truth quietly, peeling back the layers without theatrics. And for once, people are listening. They're beginning to see the bigger picture. The manipulation, the mind games, the pattern that Martell has repeated with every woman he's been with. This isn't about excusing Arionne's role in the affair. It's about recognizing the way Martell preys on vulnerability, sells women dreams, and then shames them for believing in those dreams. He thrives on being the misunderstood man, the one who just wants to protect his family. But in reality, his actions are calculated. He plans his betrayals. He uses emotions as weapons. And when the damage is done, he flips the narrative to make himself the victim. His latest interview crossed the line for many viewers. It wasn't just rude, it was deliberate. By calling Arionne not wife material, Martell attempted to distance himself from the mess he created. He painted himself as an innocent man caught in a storm, when in truth, he was the storm. He built it, fed it, and then ran when it destroyed everything around him. Now that both Melody and Arionne are withdrawing from his chaos, Martell is left standing alone, vulnerable, exposed. At its core, this situation isn't about infidelity or even lies. It's about accountability. Martell's greatest flaw is not his cheating. It's his refusal to acknowledge the harm he's caused. Instead of facing the mirror, he hides behind staged performances. Selfies at the gym, inspirational captions, podcast buzzwords. At one point, people wanted to believe him. They hoped he was growing, changing, becoming better. But each new interview feels like a replay of the same tired script. The excuses, the deflections, the blame shifting, it's all the same. Only now, fewer people are buying it. Even his most loyal defenders are falling silent, because after so many failed relationships, the pattern is undeniable. How many women need to break before people stop acting like Martell is simply unlucky in love? The cruelest part of Martell's behavior is the way he never fully lets go. Even while dismissing Arionne as unworthy, he'll add a line like, "But she was there for me when nobody else was." That's not affection, it's manipulation. It keeps her tethered, questioning whether he still cares, stuck in a cycle of hope and confusion. But when care is tied to control, it's not love, it's possession. Arionne is not blameless. She made choices that contributed to Melody's marriage falling apart. But the longer she stays quiet, the more people begin to see the truth of what she endured. Martell sold her a dream, then ridiculed her for believing it. He smiled in her face while dragging her name in rooms she wasn't allowed to enter. That kind of betrayal doesn't just break someone, it changes them forever. The saddest irony is that Martell still thinks he's the main character. He believes he can talk his way out of the mess, charm his way back into the spotlight, and shape the story to make himself the hero. But the narrative has shifted. His redemption is no longer the focus. People are watching the women he hurt rise without him. Melody has already rebuilt her life. Many believe Arionne may be next, and if she does, Martell will lose the last thread of relevance he's holding on to. This story has never been about whether Arionne was wife material. It's about accountability. It's about how many chances one man can have before we stop calling him a victim of circumstances. Martell had love, he had loyalty, he had family, and he destroyed it all for control. Now, the only person left to face is the man in the mirror. If Martell truly wants to change, the path forward isn't more interviews, more gym selfies, or more staged captions about growth. It isn't about presenting a polished version of himself to the public. Real growth would mean sitting in silence, acknowledging the pain he's caused, and listening to the voices of the women who finally chose themselves over him. The truth doesn't lie in his words, it lies in their silence. And until he confronts that silence honestly, he'll remain trapped in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, and watching as the world slowly stops listening altogether. So, what do you think about Martell's latest move? Do you believe he's really changed, or is this just another performance to protect his image? One thing is clear, actions always speak louder than words. The silence from both Melody and Arionne says more than any interview ever could. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear from you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on stories just like this. Until next time, stay tuned and take care of yourselves.